Hi everyone, it's Ryan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make some mini cheesecakes. Okay, so to start out with, I am going to start with the graham cracker crust. So I have a quarter cup of melted butter already in this glass bowl. I just zapped it in the microwave. And to that, I'm going to add a quarter cup of sugar. And I do have my oven preheating to 350. Then I'm also going to add a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. And I'm just going to give that a little mix with a fork to get it nice and incorporated. And then I'm going to pour in 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. Now these are just regular graham crackers. They do have cinnamon ones. You can use whatever kind you want. I'm just going to be making plain cheesecakes, and then I'm going to make some blueberry topping to go on top of these, and maybe some other fruit toppings to take with us. We're going to a family event tomorrow, so I thought these would be perfect little personal desserts to take. So I'm just trying to mix this in and make sure that all of the butter gets mixed with all of the graham cracker, get all of that sugar incorporated. Kind of using the side of my bowl to push and make sure everything gets coated. I have this pot holder under here so that the butter doesn't get too cold on the countertop and so that it doesn't make that horrible noise that one of my last videos had. So this is nice and incorporated, and I just have a cupcake pan here lined with some regular cupcake liners, and I'm going to use my, let's see what number this is, 40 scoop, the purple one, to scoop the crust into the bottom of all of these just to make sure that they all get about the same amount. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this just helps make sure that one doesn't get like twice as much as the others. And then I forgot to get my little tool that I have for something else out to tamp these down to make a solid base. So I will get that out here in just a second. And I do have another pan lined as well, just in case. I'm not entirely sure how many this is going to make yet, but it's definitely going to make quite a few because this is my regular size batch of cheesecake. So I'm going to grab that tool and I'll be right back. So I'm just using this little thing. If you don't have one of these, just use like a little measuring cup to tamp them down. And this is just to make sure that you have a solid base for your cheesecakes so that whenever you unwrap them, when you're serving these, you could either go ahead and take the wrapper off and serve them that way, or you can just serve them. The cat is having a fit in the background. You could serve them without the liner or just leave them in the liner. I will be leaving them in the liner. So I am just tamping all of these down. And I'm going to finish this up, and then I will come right back and we will make the cheesecake filling. All right, so for the filling, like I said, this is just going to be a regular cheesecake base. So in here I have 4 8-ounce packages of cream cheese, and to that I'm going to add 1.5 cups of sugar. And this is a half cup measure, so I need 3 of these. Yes, it is. That would have been good, telling you the wrong amount. So that's 1.5 cups of sugar. And so I am going to mix these two until it is nice and fluffy. So I have my silicone scraper blade in there. I'm going to start this on low and then whip it up until it is very fluffy. Okay, and now and then you are going to have to scrape it, even with this blade on here, because, not blade, but paddle attachment, because it's a lot of cream cheese and it's going to flip it up toward the top. So I'm just scraping, making sure that the sugar that is on the bottom gets brought up a little bit, and just whip it until it is fluffy. All right, so that has been mixing for a couple minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just get everything back down into the bowl. I'm going to go scrape all the way down to the bottom of the bowl one more time. Sometimes these mixers make it a little bit difficult to scrape the bottom. All right. So now I'm going to turn it on low as I can with this one. And I am going, Lord. All right. So I'm going to turn it on low and add in 3/4 cup of milk. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right. So I am going to go ahead and, so all the milk is in here, and I am just going to scrape once again, get everything off the side. If there's anything you learn from my videos, it is going to be to scrape your bowl plenty, because stuff builds up on the sides even with these scraper attachments, and you really still need to scrape the bowl. Not quite as much, but you still need to. And I need production to let me see my recipe. Okay, so now I have 4 eggs that I'm going to go ahead and bust the yolks and scramble them up a little bit so that whenever I add them, I don't have to be like super careful that the yolk mixes in. I hate saying that word. So now I'm going to once again turn this on low, try to make as little of a mess as possible, and slowly add the eggs in. Okay. Now we're getting to a cheesecake base consistency. Scraping the bowl again. And now I am going to add my sour cream. So I have 1 cup of sour cream. And you can use light sour cream if you want to. You could use Greek yogurt if you wanted to. I am just going to be using regular sour cream. Make sure you get it all in there. I just got some new little spatulas, and I love this one and the color. And then I am going to be adding 1 tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. You can use regular vanilla if you wanted to. I want to have some of the little flecks of the vanilla bean in this, so I'm going to use vanilla bean paste. And I just picked this up at, I believe it was Home Goods, was where I bought this little bottle. I've had it for a while. I finally found it when I was cleaning the pantry. Okay, so I'm gonna mix this and then we're going to add a little bit of flour to help bind everything together. Mix it on low for just a little bit. And this is why you should always remember which direction is off on your mixer so you do not turn it all the way on high and throw cheesecake batter all over your counter and your husband who is filming. So I'm going to finish cleaning this up and I'll be back. All right, so I am giving the bowl one more good scrape, and I am going to now add a quarter cup of all-purpose flour. And you can see the little vanilla bean flecks in there right now. So I'm going to add a quarter cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm going to go ahead and just give this a quick little zhuzh with my spatula so that maybe it won't fling flour everywhere too. And I'm going to mix this for probably just like a quick minute, make sure the flour is all incorporated, and then we will get it scooped into our cupcake pan. All right, so I'm going to get the paddle scraped off and get my cupcake pan over here and get everything scooped up. Oh, this made a mess. And if you feel like my sound is a little off, I just got a new microphone that I'm trying it out. So hopefully it is going to work out. A little less background noise, hopefully. And we will see. All right, so underneath our cupcake pan, I'm going to do a hot water bath. So it's going to create steam in the oven to help the cheesecakes hopefully not crack as bad and just add some moisture to help it cook. So what I do is I take my sheet pan, I put it in my oven, and you can pull out your oven rack if you want to. But I am just going to pour some water in here. Doesn't have to be a ton. My oven's trying to tell me to shut the door. So I'm going to pour that in there and just let this sit in here and create steam while I'm scooping. All right, so for scooping these, I'm going to use my yellow scoop, which is the number 20 scoop. And that, once again, just ensures that I'm getting about the same amount in each one. And I might come back and add maybe like an extra half a scoop. So I'm just doing this, and you can hopefully see all of the little specks of vanilla bean in there. And I'm definitely going to have to add maybe another half scoop. We'll see. Because I want these to be nice and full. They will rise a little bit, but it won't be enough that it will overflow in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to start with about a half a scoop. I think that'll be perfect because that will give enough room for the filling. And like I said, this is the same recipe that I would use to make like a regular cheesecake. Even the crust recipe, that's the size I would use to make the crust for a regular one. It makes a 10-inch springform pan cheesecake. Okay, so I'm gonna get these in the oven. Like I said, the oven is preheated to 350, and these are gonna take probably about 20 minutes. When I come back on, when they're done, I'm gonna obviously tell you exactly how long they took, but I'm gonna start them at 15 just to make sure. that's not too long. All right, so the amount of crust that I gave you, that recipe would make about 18 of these mini cheesecakes. So I have more batter. So depending on how many mini cheesecakes you're wanting, if you want to just make about 18, I would go ahead, make the amount of crust that I told you, and then half the cheesecake base recipe. That way you'll have about 18, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on how you scoop yours. I ended up having to make some more crust just so that I could finish off this cheesecake base. And it is going to make about 24 exactly. So I'm going to finish scooping these. The other batch, the first round is in the oven as we speak. So I'm going to do this and I will wait for those to come out before I put these in, just because I don't really want to interrupt that bake time. All right, so I just took these out of the oven. They ended up taking a half an hour. Make sure you're very careful when you open your oven because all of that steam will come out and you don't want it to burn your face. And as you can see, they did crack a little, but once they cool and they start to settle, the cracks are gonna settle as well, and I'm putting topping on top of these. So I'm not really concerned about the cracks. If you wanted to, you could put this pan directly into your sheet pan of water, and that will also help more evenly cook them. I don't want to deal with boiling hot water, so I did it this way and just put the pan in on another shelf. So I'm going to put these in the refrigerator on a cooling rack so it's not going directly on my glass shelves so they can cool down. All right, so I'm going to be making a blueberry sauce to go on top of these. And to start off with, I'm going to take 4 tablespoons or a quarter cup of sugar, put it in a little bowl, and then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to this. If you want it a little more thick, you can add a little extra cornstarch. I'm not necessarily going for a sauce that's going to like hold together the greatest. It's just going to be kind of poured or scooped over top. So I'm putting it in here with my sugar just to make sure that it gets spread out and I don't have chunks of cornstarch mixed with the fruit. So I'm just giving that a little mix with my fork, or you could use a whisk, whatever you wanted. So then in my batter bowl, I'm going to be doing this in the microwave. So you could cook it on the cooktop or the stovetop until it gets thick, or I'm just going to do it in the microwave. So I have 2 cups of frozen blueberries. You could use fresh if you wanted to. And then I'm going to zest. I did wash this lemon, but I'm going to go ahead and zest the whole lemon in here. If you don't want a lot of lemon flavor in here, you don't have to add the zest of the entire lemon. That is totally your call. And you could wait until the end to add this if you wanted to, but I'm just going to go ahead and add it in now. And I am going to also juice the lemon, so that's another reason I'm adding it in now. I would have to set it aside because you do not want to zest an already juiced lemon half. That is not fun. Okay. Get all of that in there, and then I am going to, let's find a knife. I am going to juice this lemon. When you're juicing a lemon, you want to make sure you turn it upside down in your juicer. I only need a teaspoon of lemon juice, so that's why I'm doing it into this bowl. I'm going to use the rest. I think I'm going to make some lemon curd. Cody asked earlier if I would make some, so I think I'm going to do that. So I don't know where my teaspoon is. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So like I said, I only need a teaspoon, so I'm going to go ahead and add that in now. And Then I'm going to sprinkle the sugar over top, the sugar and cornstarch mixture. Make sure everything is in there. And then I'm just going to give this a good mix, make sure the blueberries are coated. And I'm going to put this in the microwave for 1 minute increments until it creates the sugar, and the juices from the blueberries is going to create like a little sauce in the bottom. And then hopefully it will thicken up nicely. So I'm going to put this in the microwave for 1 minute. Okay, so this is after 1 minute. It's starting to create a sauce in the bottom. Like I said, these were frozen, so it's going to take it a little bit longer to warm up. So I'm just giving it a little stir. Make sure everything is incorporating. I'm going to put this in for another minute and come back. Right, this is after 2 minutes. So it's really starting to create a sauce, and I think I'm going to put it on for 2 minutes so it can get nice and hot and start to thicken up. All right, so it is starting to get really hot. It hasn't come to a boil in the microwave yet, but Cody was asking if I needed to mash the blueberries at all. And you could if you wanted to, just to, you know, not have entire blueberries in your bite, but I'm going to leave them whole just because I think they look pretty. So I'm going to put this in for another 2 minutes, and then I think I'm just going to be done with it. And like I said, I'm not concerned with it getting super thick. It's a pretty nice consistency right now, but I want to see if it'll get just a little bit more thick. Okay? All right, so this was in for another minute and a half. So in total, I did 5.5 minutes in the microwave for this batch. And as you can see, it has thickened up nicely. So I'm going to put this in a clear container. So I'm going to put this in here so that it is easy to transport tomorrow and get this in the refrigerator. Such a pretty color. And then I will come back on once this has cooled and we will give it a taste test with the cheesecake. All right, so I would recommend cooling the mini cheesecakes for about a day. If you want to do them the night before and let them cool in the refrigerator overnight, that would be best. These haven't quite had that much time to cool because I'm trying to make a video. So I am going to go ahead and unwrap that one here in just a second. I did forget to add the vanilla to the blueberry sauce. So once you're done heating it in the microwave, go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to add it now. It will be fine. And as you can see, get a better shot of that. It is a great consistency for what we're going to be using it for. So, all right, I'm going to unwrap this. Let me get a fork so I can take it off the wrapper. And this crust is holding together perfectly. So now I'm just going to top it with a little bit of the blueberry. There you go. Like I said, you could leave it in the wrapper if you wanted to, but I am going to take a bite. Please back up because this is not a good angle, I can already tell you. I might not edit that part out. That was so good. The cheesecake is super creamy. So yeah, make sure you like this video and comment below if you make it. And don't forget to watch my other videos. Bye.